Alright, so I'm going to make this video very brief. Not going to drag it out. Insomniac has released a statement right here about the recent leak from hacker group Residia, who leaked a bunch of information about their upcoming games for the next, pretty much for the next 7 years and counting. The most notable one, of course, in the leak is the some gameplay footage and various information on Marvel's Wolverine, among other titles. So this is the statement that Insomniac has just released. Now, there's not much really to divulge here, but I will say one of some of the comments that I've received, because some of the leaks, well, actually a lot of the leaks have been shared on the channel, and I think it's important that people understand that anyone who shares the leaks, we're not hurting the game, we're promoting the game, we're getting the information out there to the people. And then you have some folks who aren't happy because some people are being a bit critical of the game before it's released. And as I shared as I shared a comment with someone on one of the recent videos related to this Insomniac's leak issue, the people that are critical, uber critical of this whole project, they're going to be the first ones out to buy the game when it comes out. I'm not really concerned about that. But leakers, people who are sharing the leaks, no, we're not hurting Insomniac. Insomniac will be fine. As far as the leaking of apparently the game has some kind of developer's toolkit or something that was leaked, and people are trying to actually play the game early, which is ridiculous because it's very, very early on in development right now. They're probably maybe about halfway through the game's development cycle, so it's nowhere near in a playable state. And I can confirm that because I saw footage of the vertical slice myself, along with other various gameplay, and it's far from finished. Very far from finished. The people that are doing that shit and leaking personal information about employees, yeah, that's obviously that's a problem. And Insomniac, they're gonna have to deal with that. That's their issue. I don't work for Insomniac Games. I don't know anyone who works for Insomniac Games. I'm just a consumer like everybody else. With that said, it's not my aim or my concern about the leaking of personal information. That doesn't affect me. My whole focus is to give people the information about the product, and that's exactly what I've done. The leaked information, it's still on the channel. I do have some videos up right now that I'm periodically making public, so you're just gonna have to pay attention to the channel for when the videos do go public. And then we also have some information that's on the community tab that you can take a look into if you don't want to look at the videos. But I want to give people a chance to actually see the leaks, because we have a bunch of content creators that are talking about the leaks, but no one's actually showing it because out of fear of videos being taken down and what have you. I'm not concerned about that personally for this channel, for my channel. With that said, the important part about this statement is the part where they say Insomniac is resilient. Because I was going to make a video with myself and my co-host, and we were going to talk about this this whole thing coming in the next few days, probably this weekend at some point. And just to go through all the information again. And the point that I wanted to make is what Insomniac's response to this should be, because I've been seeing a lot of comments online of people talking about, well, the game is going to potentially be delayed, or it's going to be canceled because of leakers. I had to ban someone because the dude said he hates leakers and that the game's going to potentially be delayed because of the leaks. It's like, no, you have no idea what the fuck you're talking about. I'm gonna pull something up in this video, and I'm gonna point something out to express my point. So if you look at the licensing terms between Insomniac and Marvel, this is a deal between these two companies. Right here, under the release bracket right here, all of these games have to be released by 2035. So going back to this timeline, Insomniac has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, some new IP. They have, probably anywhere between 6 and 7 games to make and to release within the next few years. So they got a lot of projects on their slate. If Wolverine, going by the commenters, some of the commenters, if Wolverine is delayed, then everything else is going to get pushed back. Because you have to wonder, since Insomniac is making an X-Men game, why are they releasing Wolverine first? Well, this is just my opinion, but personally, I believe that they're using Wolverine as a stepping stone to the X-Men game. So if you push Wolverine back, then you're pushing X-Men back. And then you have to ask yourself, they're probably making this a franchise, right? Just like, Spider-Man. Spider-Man is one of their franchises now. Well, how many X-Men games are they trying to make? As it turns out, we have an answer there as well. So we have X-Men 3 right here. So by 2029, they want to release X-Men. And then by 2033, they, have the intention to release X-Men 3. So this is going to be a franchise. If you push Wolverine back, then that pushes everything else back. But since they only have till 2035 to release everything, as stated in the license terms right here, they can't just delay all of these games indefinitely, especially over some leaks that only maybe a couple thousand people have seen, maybe a few 100,000 people. They don't have the time, they don't have the window to delay. They have a lot of projects on their slate. So no, the leaks aren't going to do shit in terms of these games being delayed, in terms of Wolverine itself being delayed. My point is that Insomniac should just, as far as their response to this whole fiasco, they should just push through and shrug it off and keep going. According to this comment right here, from their response, it seems that's exactly what they're doing. They're going to shrug it off, and Marvel's Wolverine is going to continue as planned. Nothing's going to change. They're not going to drastically change the game just because some of it leaked online. I kept seeing, certain comments about that. People up in arms about people showing leaks, online, saying that the game's going to be canceled or the game's going to be delayed. If I see comments like that, I'm going to ban you from the channel. All right, I'm just not going to tolerate the stupidity because it's ridiculous. From the company, this is a statement from the company itself. The game's going to continue as planned. Nothing's changing. Now, there's one more thing that I want to clarify, because some people were confused about the release year, particularly because there's two different timelines. This timeline is saying that Wolverine's going to come out in 2025. This one's saying it's going to come out in 2026. Now, in the deep dive video, I said that this timeline is probably, a bit old. It's probably a little outdated. And that's because, there's a game that's missing between Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine on this timeline. And the years are wrong. They're off. That game is Marvel's Venom, which isn't on this timeline. And I'm just going to reiterate what I stated in the last video I made on this topic. Marvel's Venom, they're using Marvel's Venom to bridge the gap between Spider-Man 2 and Spider-Man 3. And Wolverine is still a ways off. So I don't believe initially that Insomniac had intended to make a Venom game, but that's what they're doing. And I have confirmation of exactly, which year it is. Is it 2025 or is it 2026. Well, if we take a look here, this is for Marvel's Wolverine. It's right here. Confirmation, planned 2026 release. They're going to have their internal alpha build in the summer of 2025. They're going to have the full alpha in fall, 2025 right there. They're planning this, it's like a 3-year development cycle from when this schedule was created. So the game's coming out in 2026. So this timeline, as I stated in the last video, is probably not completely inaccurate, but it would appear that they've pushed everything back a year to fit in Venom. So you can assume that everything is going to be pushed back. X-Men 3 will likely come out in 2034, which means that they'll still be within the release terms right here, as far as the schedule goes. So I just wanted to clarify that real quick for those who were confused. But Insomniac is doing exactly what they should do. They're shrugging it off and they're moving forward with the game as planned. Nothing's changing. There will be a greater discussion on this topic between myself and my co-host, hopefully this weekend. I'm hopeful it's going to be this weekend that we're going to have this final discussion on this this whole situation with Insomniac Games. But for those who have been following the channel and have been watching the videos, leaving comments, likes, definitely appreciate it. We appreciate the support. If there's any other information that's released, you can be certain that I will work to get that information to you all.